Thank you for staying with us. Time now for us to get abreast of the news. And Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Dr. Clemente Park, is worried that 2 weeks into the new year, there is no clarity on when school children in basic schools will return to the classroom. The Wilson South Member of Parliament contends children in private schools already in school will have an unfair advantage over their colleagues in public schools. Dr. Park is warning that if the situation is not resolved immediately, he will haul the Education Minister before Parliament, which is set to resume next week.
If you are going to have a strong and robust educational system, you ought to pay a lot of attention to basic education. As we speak now, heads of basic schools in Ghana, public basic schools, teachers, don't know when basic schools, public basic schools, are going to reopen. The original communication that many had, particularly those who were seeking transfer to new schools, was that they should report before the 4th of this month to suggest that the schools should have opened on the 4th. That has not happened. As we speak today, private basic schools across the country have reopened, and yet we have no idea of exactly when public basic schools will reopen. This should be a cause for concern. And indeed, parents and teachers are worried about the fact that we don't seem to know when, and we don't seem to have a regular academic calendar now also for the basic school system.
As Deputy Ranking Member, have you tried to find out what exactly may be the challenge why these schools are still not reopening?
Well, I have not made contact with the Minister and I have not made contact with the Director General, but we shouldn't be asking them to do what they are being paid by the taxpayer to do. It is their responsibility to manage the educational sector of this country. We as members of Parliament clearly have oversight, and what I am doing is part of my oversight responsibility. So I expect that government, through the ministry or the Ghana Education Service, would come out and let the good people of this country know the reasons why public basic schools are yet to reopen. That is their responsibility. If they don't, when Parliament resumes, clearly we will file questions and perhaps look at inviting the minister to the committee.
On to our next story, and the University of Cape Coast is seeking partnership with African diaspora investors to expand the university's enterprise development agenda. According to the university, the phenomenon where students complete their courses at the various tertiary institutions and have to rely on government for employment should be a major concern to everyone. Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Rosemond Bohene, has called for partnerships to modernize agriculture and deepen innovation and entrepreneurship among students to promote food security and reduce employment. Richard Kwejunyako has more in the following report.
Professor Rosemond Bohene shared the Vice-Chancellor's vision strategy, which he believes could move the university on the path of entrepreneurship and broadly on enterprise development. She is seeking partnership to overturn the situation where students complete their university education and go job hunting. For her, the path the university has chosen is to make the students innovative and creative thinkers capable of becoming employers right after school.
So in the Vice-Chancellor's vision strategy, we have championing entrepreneurship, and one of the things we've done is to establish a design thinking and innovation hub. We want to develop the creative and innovative ideas so that by the time our students leave here, they are not going to be job seekers, but they are also going to be job creators. And I believe that whilst you think of coming out with other things in relation to the university, these are some of the areas you can partner the university in. We are also looking at the modernization of agriculture. Now we are talking about food security, and we have a big land. Is there a way our brothers and sisters from the diaspora can partner the university? So we want to go into enterprise development.
Chairman of the African Diaspora Development Initiative in Ghana, Nana Obokesi Ampa I, says the idea of the Wakanda City of Return is not only to build a smart city that would make the Africans in the diaspora return home, but also to strengthen the education, health and commerce of the local people in Ghana, and the University of Cape Coast would play a crucial role in the establishment.
We want to work closely with the university because Cape Coast area is going to be the seat of what is about to happen. It's going to be the hub of everything diaspora. And then we cannot function properly without the input of existing institutions like yours. We have agreed with the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. We're going to build a surgery center over there. People who will travel from Ivory Coast all the way to Accra will just stop here to perform any specialized surgeries they want to do. Also, they have a container of medical equipment, medical supplies worth $300,000 coming right now.
Tufuhin of Atonkwa traditional area, Nana Kwame Krah, prayed the Wakanda city of return would not be seen as establishing a gated community on the African continent, but as a tool to accelerate the development of the African continent. The donation forms part of the African Diaspora Development Initiative's commitment to partner existing institutions to support the people. Reporting for JoyNews, Richard Kwejunya, Cape Coast.
Now, the management of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital has been defending its decision to sack an accounts officer who dragged the hospital to Shraj over alleged misapplication of COVID-19 funds and abuse of office. The hospital says it dismissed Awuni Atreba for breaching its grievance protocols and peddling falsehood against management in a case yet to be heard by the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Speaking to Love News, Public Relations Officer for CATH, Kwame Frimpong, said it had not received any communication from Traj and refused to acknowledge the existence of any petition before the Commission.
The disciplinary processes into this case started long before the matter was sent to Traj. He had made allegations prior to going to Traj, and so the process were already on. As we speak, we've not been notified or invited or written to by Traj, either formally or informally. So as far as the board is concerned, it is unaware of any petition pending before Strat. We have internal grievance resolution mechanisms or channels. When we are staff, when you have issues, for instance, with your head, or if you're in charge, you write to your head. When you have issues with your head, you write to his line director, or you approach his line director. When you have issues with your line director, you approach the chief executive. When you have issues with the chief executive, you approach the board. And when you have issues with the board, you go to the Ministry of Health. That's the procedure. We have a disciplinary code that is clearly disseminated, widely disseminated in this hospital, that we are all subjected to.
Meanwhile, the petitioner, Awuni Atreba, has described his dismissal as a travesty of justice, saying he has not been given a fair hearing.
A matter has arisen, and we've taken the matter to Shraj, an independent body, arbiter, to decide. Then you say you have established. How did you establish that? How did the board establish that? What record of proceedings was presented to the board chairman, Nana Ifa Penting? I think that this is a travesty of justice. What the hospital has done, a complete travesty of justice.
Are you going to sue?
Sure, I am contemplating. Probably very soon they would hear. I'll sue for that. I try to get this erased, quashed, not suing for anything, but just to get the decision because it is patent on the face of the letter that I was not granted fair hearing. Natural justice, the odi otteram partem rule.
Well, Ghana has been implementing a no vaccination, no entry directive at the ports of entry and other public places as a measure to control the spread of variants of COVID-19 into the country. However, a religious group named Nondenominational Believers Team wants a review of the directive, saying it is disappointed at the mandatory vaccination of Ghanaians. Members want government to focus more on growing the economy than pushing resources to restrict economic activities. Love FM's Emmanuel Osei has more.
Government has rolled out vaccination programs in many health facilities and centers to ensure majority of the population get protected against the COVID-19. The government expects more Ghanaians to be vaccinated in order to reach herd immunity to the virus. Currently, the Ministry of Health demands proof of vaccination before access to its offices. This means many unvaccinated persons will be denied entry into their workplaces, which will further reduce productivity in the country. The Non-Denominational Believers Team, a religious group, claims the mandatory nature of vaccination is against their fundamental human rights to life, respect for private life, and freedom of religion. Evangelist Francis Ewusi is a leading member of the group.
If this one become a force in our society, if I can do this work
and I say I won't do it again, then they will eliminate me. So if they eliminate me, it will be very difficult for someone to, step in my shoes. So that will bring the economy one by. So people are now, if you don't vaccinate, or if you are not being vaccinated, you can't come here, you can't do here. That will bring the economy down. And assuming now I want to remove all my money from bank, because I've heard that a day will come that they will say you can't go to bank. So if I can't go to bank, that means I have to remove my money right now.
Hundreds of its members held a forum dubbed Stop the Forced Vaccination, where leaders took turns explaining why the vaccine should not be forced on them. Members held placards with inscriptions, "No forced vaccination, my body, my right. The blood of Jesus is our vaccine," among others.
We disagree!
Prophet Francis Kofi Annan is chairman of the Nondenominational Believers team.
Nothing can be forced upon the citizens of this nation, because no one can force me to eat. When I visit the hospital and I say, no, I will not take any drugs, it is my will. And that is my power. My will is my power. So, in fact, that is our concern. So we are appealing to them to come back and say no. And if they don't say no, then the action that we are going to take is a demonstration against it.
The group says they are not against the vaccine rollout, but the mandatory nature it poses. Dorcas Alimo is an officer at ECG. She is worried the mandatory vaccination will affect her and the family.
ECG is resuming work officially today, but here I am because circular has been issued that without vaccination card, I can't go to the office. And I'm so worried. I don't want to take the vaccination because of my right to health care. Even the health charter says that when I am sick and I go to the hospital, before the doctor can attend to me and give me any medication, he has to explain for my understanding. And with this vaccination, nobody has explained anything. All that is being said is that it is going to give us protection.
Ghanaians have not had any updates so far as to if the vaccination is working, if it's adversely affecting the people of Ghana, if it needs to be continued, if it needs to be looked at before we haven't had any of such thing.
The Ghana Health Service, however, say the vaccine is safe and advise that all persons be vaccinated. From Kumasi, Emmanuel Osei reporting.
Let's turn our gaze to the exploitation of children now. And a joint team of police and officials of Cocoa Board have arrested 8 farmers cited in JoyNews' latest expose, Children in Cocoa Labor. The documentary reveals that 5,000 cedis is how much a trafficker requires to recruit at least 7 children from the northern part of the country to work on cocoa farms. Head of Public Relations at Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, says they are opposed to children working on cocoa farms and will do everything to protect them.
As was indicated at the press conference, Ghana Cocoa Board do not subscribe to any acts of child labor within the cocoa industry, and wherever we find it, we shall ensure that we deal with it. So upon seeing the documentary, we have reported the matter to the police, who have arrested and invited the people and currently taking them through the process. With the identified children, our officers are also in touch. The process will help us in identifying and then also understand and appreciate their situation better. And then based on that, through the collaboration with other government agencies, get them, if it's a case that they've been moved from somewhere else, get them reunited with their family. The issue about child labor is not exclusive within the cocoa industry. And of course, the Ministry of Labor, together with its agencies, are working on that. So identifying that there's something like that, it is something we'll collaborate with the relevant agencies to ensure that the right thing is done. Cocoa Board plays the role within the cocoa industry, but there are some specific activities that are within the domain of some other government agencies. But we have a very strong synergy within us, and based on that, we'll leverage on it and get the issues resolved. So far, 8 persons, per the information given, 1 in Western North, and 7 in the Ashanti region, who are helping the police with investigations. Cocoa Board takes very seriously any report which portrays a child of school-going age as having engaged in activities on a cocoa farm that will be construed as child labor. We and the government have taken a strong stance against child labor of any kind and condemn any act which undermines efforts aimed at ensuring sustainability in the cocoa industry. Any case of child labor has a negative impact on the reputation of the country on the international stage. Fortunately, these incidents are not common practices in Ghana's cocoa industry. Ordinarily, one will not see farmers openly engaged in such practices when one visits our cocoa communities, and that is the testament of the fact that our sensitization efforts and interventions are yielding some results. That notwithstanding, the documentary shows that there are yet some criminal elements set on defying the government policy and undermining the serious effort of Cocoa Board to eradicate child labor in cocoa production. We have already reported the situation as unearthed in the documentary to the police, and some arrests have already been effected in Ashanti and Western North regions. All suspects and persons of interest are currently going through the legal process. We have similarly alerted the police on, we shall similarly alert the police on any other case related to child labor which comes to our attention for the persons involved to be apprehended and prosecuted.
Well, this is a crucial matter, and it's going to feature big as we bring you our big stories later on the show. Up next, though, we're going to have a news review with Oliver Baka Vomawo of the Fix the Country group. Do stay.